Alright, welcome to the tutorial on how to make an Uruk-Hai sword. Have a look in the description of this video and I'll tell you how to get these templates. So you want to print these out on cardstock or paper. Cardstock, the idea the better. Right, and then we'll move on to the next step. Print out your templates, and now it's time to transfer it onto the foam board. Now it'll all fit on one piece of foam board, but I had this little offcut, so I'm just going to use that. What you do is cut them out and then put it on the flat edge of the foam board, so the spike is coming out this way. Just remember to do 2 of the handle bits. Okay, another tip for when you're cutting out, try and do it in 2 or 3 passes. Don't try and go for it all in one go, otherwise you'll run more risk of cutting it up. So like I'll do here, I'll go through the top layer of paper, and then I'll go through again and get through all the foam, and I'll go through it one last time to get through that bottom bit of paper. Alright, so there we go, that's all the pieces that we need. If you're going to be using it for cosplay, you want to do 2 of these and just have it look a bit thicker. Alright, so I was looking online for reference pictures and discovered that about the right size is from your fingertips almost to your shoulder. So if you want any scale with your body, just use that as a kind of a measurement. I was going to put an indicator so when I glue it together I know what side is touching what. So I've put one on here, and then I'll put this on top, so I'll put one on this side as well, so I know these 2 bits get stuck together. I'll put the 2 on there and the 2 on there, so when they get stuck together I know that's that. Those bits that I've just marked, the numbers, put them number side down. Where the handle meets inwards, I'm going to cut a little groove, so I'll show you that. Alright, so try and get it curved if you can as well. So that's the edge there, so it's not a straight flat edge like this. And you do it on this other bit as well. Alright, so they're both cut now. And you will be cutting on this outside edge as well, but do it once it's all glued together. The reason why you do this is because when it's on the sword, it's hard to get in without cutting into the blade. So that's why we do that now. So when it comes to sticking them together, you've got 2 options. One, using some sort of PVA glue, and the other using a hot glue gun. So there's benefits and disadvantages of using both of these. The hot glue gun, it's quicker and you'll get a stronger bond. The PVA glue, it'll take a lot longer to dry, but it's cheaper and you don't need to buy a hot glue gun. So with the hot glue gun, you've only got a matter of seconds to get it into the right place before it's cooled down and you can't move anymore. But with the glue, you'll have a lot longer to get it into the right place. So it's up to you which one you'd rather use. For now, I'm going to use the hot glue gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the sword side. And then take your handle side and press it straight down. And press it down for a few seconds, hold it down as well. We'll leave it for a few minutes to cool down completely before I start cleaning it up and getting ready to paint it. Alright, so depending on how you want your handle, the grip to be, this bit, in the movies it is small tight bits of leather wrapped tightly around this. I don't have leather, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use string to make it a bit darker. What I've got in here is some water and just a few paints which I've mixed together. So I'm going to take the string. I've already measured it around roughly about how much I'll need, plus a bit extra. I'm going to put that in there and leave it to soak for a little bit. That should give it a nice dark mucky colour. That's completely cooled down now. Now what I'm going to do is cut the edges a little bit, just to make it so when it sits in your hand it's a bit rounder, looks a bit more realistic than just a block. So to do that, I'm just using the knife again, and I'm going to take off a little bit at a time. There we go. Alright, you want to be careful when you're doing this because it's really easy to start cutting and then recut and recut again and recut after that, and it just gets warped out of shape. So try and only do it as much as possible, as much as you need to. Alright, if you want extra bit of detail, go over with a rough sandpaper and then a smoother sandpaper afterwards, just to smooth it out a bit more. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Alright, so that's smoothed out now. So I'm going to try something which I've never tried before, and hopefully it'll turn out. What my plan is to take out some of this foam, leave the card, take out a bit of the foam, about ½ centimetre, and then go across with a hot glue gun and pinch it together. So I've never tried this before, so we'll see together whether it works or not. Go across it with either a knife, or I'm going to be using tweezers because that's about the size of this, and just go out and pull it out bit by bit. Alright, so there we go, that's all gone across and it's got a groove inside all of it. So hopefully I can go across with the glue gun and close it all up and it'll look good. Alright, so when it comes down to it, I'm going to start from this end. I'm going to put the glue tip in, I'm going to squeeze a little bit in, but not too much, and then I'm going to squeeze it together with my fingers. I'm most likely going to have a few burns in this, so use gloves if you need them, be careful and take your time with it as well. Don't try and do too much at once. That's cooled down now, and once the hot glue dries, it's actually really quite strong, so it'll strengthen up the blade a bit as well. What I'm going to do is use the PVA glue. I'm going to put it on my finger and spread it across. It makes a seal, so the solvent in the spray paint, it can't get in and can't eat away the foam. It just protects it. So I'm going to do that on all bits of the exposed foam on the handle and on there. Alright, so there's no real trick to this one. Just get a big lump of glue on there and then just smooth it across with your finger. I find that's the best way to get it into all these little cracks and everywhere. Now you don't want it too thick, so you don't want it to take forever to dry, but you want it quite thick so it protects it better. That's pretty much all covered in glue now. I might need to do a second coat later on, which I probably will do. So I'm going to leave that on radiator to dry somewhere, and I'll come back and show you it once it's done. Alright, so here we go. It's dried now. It seems to be pretty sealed around. I put a second coat on, and so now it's ready for painting. Alright, so the first bit I'm going to do is black paint on the handle. Alright, so there we go. Just remember that you want to put a few light coats on. You don't want to do it all in one time, otherwise it'll take forever to dry. So I'm going to leave that to dry and come back and put a few more coats on both sides. That's the handle now. I had to use a hairdryer on it because it's a bit too cold outside for it to dry normally. Alright, so here we go. I've covered up the handle mostly and put masking tape over the top where the wooden bit is supposed to be. So I'm going to paint the length of the sword now silver. There we go. So it looks a bit nice now. Alright, so this has been left overnight and it's all dried up and it's nice now. So now it's come to doing a bit more detailed painting. Alright, first thing that I've done is I've made it more of a mucky green type colour. It looks a bit more like the dirty iron or steel, whatever the York and Uruk-Hai use, instead of this nice silver. It's really simple how I did this. So I got some bronze paint, and then I've got a couple of sheets of toilet paper. I just fold that up into a little square and get some of your paint. And then just put a load of that on your sword, and then with the tissue just circle it in. Alright, so there is my kind of messy but looks alright sword. It looks a lot better than just plain silver anyway. Alright, now for the handle. This is a wooden handle, so I'm just going to do it with a few different browns. Basically what you want to do is cover most of the handle in a darker brown first. Alright, there we go. So you might notice that I'm keeping most of the paint to either side. That's because this is going to be covered by the string later on. So I'm going to do a little bit of detailing on here, but most of it's going to be done on both ends. So I'm going to leave that to dry now before moving on to the next step. Alright, so that's dried now. So the next thing that I'm going to use is a slightly lighter brown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a thick bristle brush. So these are just harder bristles. What I'm going to do is get some of the paint and first rub it onto a tissue, so that when I put it on the handle it only leaves a little bit like that. Because I don't want it to be covered, I want it to look like grains. It doesn't really show up well on camera, but it looks better in person. So what I'm going to do is use just a few different shades of brown and black, and just basically do this along it, so it's all covered and it should look quite a lot better. Alright, so here's the handle. Looks quite nice. I've put little bits of red along the blade to make it look like there's a bit of dried blood on. But now I'm ready for the next step, which is putting on the binding. So I've got my string and I've got my hot glue gun. I'm going to start from this end and go to this. I might double up depending on how much string I've got left. First thing that I'm going to do is get a little bit of glue near the top. And then I'm going to lay my string on lengthways. Wait a few seconds for that to cool down, and then put another bit of glue over the top of it. This is so that when I start wrapping it round, I'm not going to have an end sticking out. It'll be on the inside, so it'll make it look a little bit better. Alright, so have your glue gun on a low temperature. So what you're going to do is wrap it round, and then every few lines you're going to put a drop of the hot glue and just fix it down in place. So I'm going to do one right at the start to fix it in place. Now notice I'm doing this just on the bottom. Alright, so I've got it to where I want to be, so to finish it off I'm going to wrap back round a couple of times and then glue it in place. So, alright, you'll see I put hot glue on both sides. That's just to give it a bit more strength, seeing as that'll be exposed and this side isn't. Alright, so here we go. That's the finished project now. It looks pretty nice. It looks very rough and fits in with the Uruk-Hai style. It's not exactly how it is in the film, but since I want to show people how to do things on a budget, I think this has turned out pretty well. So it's a good size, feels really nice. The sharper edge turned out better than I thought, so I'll be doing that in future projects. It's my first time doing the string as well, so I think that looks pretty well, saying it's supposed to be a rough binding. All in all, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so thank you for watching the tutorial. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you for the next tutorial. Bye.
Oh!